Twin Humanities E3 Adventure.
With James Carter.
Wait, what?
Bethesda then. This was our time. Was it about 2 o'clock, 2:30 in the morning? 2:30, I think.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah,
it was actually about 8 p.m. the following day. Is when I watched it. Haha.
It wasn't.
Yes.
It was 2:30, and I regretted it the day after.
The actor Christopher Plummer. I expected more of you. So let me see. We started with Rage 2.
We didn't. No, we didn't.
Oh, no.
No. Did you not watch any of the pre-show?
No.
Because I watched it later, and they did that thing that all the publishers do, where they put their show up on YouTube so you can watch it later, which is a good idea, right? But whenever and 3 of them have done this, I've seen so far, have left the 1 hour's worth of coming soon on the video. So you've got to scroll through the fucker to find the start of the show.
Got enough stuff to do a pre-show.
Well, it wasn't really a proper pre-show. It was more
So
like
is
a little
this
opener.
today's version of the shit that you tried to chip in yesterday?
How
which
dare
was
you.
nonsensical bollocks that
I
nobody
want to
cares
talk about Anne and Abigail.
Oh God! Is this year's version of like that Cessna bloke and his wife?
No. Look,
It is,
right?
isn't it?
So, okay, so what it was a nice opener, right? They did a little history of all the shows they've done. Like, this is what we did each year. You know, we've done this, we've done this, we've done this. I thought it was great. There were dogs. There were good boys. And it's a nice little show that showed, like, hey, look at last year. Here's all the stuff that we showed last year. And all of it's out. It's a nice little reminder of, hey, look, we're Bethesda. We actually release games. Like,
So it's actually nothing to do with this year. It's a retrospective.
No, it was an affirmation that Bethesda, when they show you something, in 6 to 8 months, you're going to be able to buy something. Like,
Never mind E3 2018. Let's derail
trip
this
down
entire
memory lane.
podcast and just have a look at last year.
how dare you? How dare you? They made a salient point. They're showing they're reliable. They're showing they might not make the most interesting games, but they do release them. Unlike some people.
I have to say I enjoyed Anne and Abigail. I thought that part of the show was pretty good, and then led into kind of we're Bethesda. Here's a brief kind of intro video interviewing some of our staff and talking about who we are as a company and reminding you that they are kind of this close-knit group, which is quite nice.
I love that bit. I genuinely like that bit they do. Like, oh, look at all these people we employ. Oh, it's nice.
I'm glad you're happy. Anyway,
And it still wasn't Rage 2.
Let's take my embracing of human misery and turn it out on the audience as Andrew WK comes on and does his song and has a really good time and properly gets into it, as nerds just have no idea how to enjoy themselves outwardly in the company of other nerds.
I was so upset that nobody seemed to be getting into it. Like,
he seemed genuinely pissed off when he walked off stage.
Andrew WK is a treasure, right? He is one of the few people that is just, he's one of the best people I think I've ever known of. Like, he's just constantly happy. He's constantly wants to party. He's just a positive influence on the entire world. He's got a smile that will light up the darkness of Bethesda stage. And he was just great. And he was giving it all as well. He was really putting his back into it. He was throwing his arms around like a nutman, playing his piano while doing a headbang. And then you kept cutting to the crowd, and there's just some bored-looking men. Just looking bored.
Do you know what I loved as well? Do you know what I loved? I watched like a little bit of a sort of spin back of it, and it was just it was going across the crowd, and most of them just didn't know what to do. You got the odd one or two that were sort of nodding their heads that were out of sync, and then it comes to like this Japanese bloke that's in the front row who's properly going for it, and I was like, good lad!
That would have been me. That would have been me. You've got Andrew WK to play at your game show. Andrew WK's here. Enjoy it, you boring bastards.
May I perhaps play Keanu Reeves, Al Pacino, and Charlize Theron in a late 90s supernatural thriller?
You can be all of those people to us, James.
To be those things, after Pete Hines comes out and makes a few Walmart japes, and you've already seen We're Bethesda, here's what we did previously, let's get some games out, to interrupt that with 3 minutes when a lot of the audience are journalists sat there with notepad on knee to take notes so they can live tweet or write up afterwards what they saw. Maybe save that for the end of the show, or put it before Pete Hines has even come out and G people up. It felt weird having an intro where people are like, right, okay, we've seen what Bethesda are, let's see what they got. Oh no, okay, hang on, 3 minutes of madcap. And hey, I like Andrew WK as much as the next person. That was great, and the performance was really cool, but it just completely destroyed, or rather the stuff around it destroyed the flow of that performance, I think. Yeah. It just seemed really poorly placed.
Laura made a point that I agreed with. They should have had something going on the screens that wasn't just like that sort of boring kind of trailer B-roll that they had. Like, they should have had something happening.
Yeah, but you're looking at the performer, you're getting into the music.
They weren't, though.
I know, because they're just bizarre people. But my sadness was that they didn't have another bookend on it, and they couldn't get him to write a song like a fucking Hellfire Skyrim 6. And just kick into that at the end of the show.
Let me put it this way. If I'm sat at work at a bench, pipette in hand, busy setting up some things to go onto a PCR robot and then be analysed to diagnose someone's genetic disorder, and Andrew WK walks in just as I'm doing a really tough calculation, might ask him to hang on for 5 minutes.
Yeah, but to be fair,
a lot of these people are there doing a job.
Would you say that you weren't ready to die?
if there was the sort of possibility that something like that could happen within your everyday job, that there was a degree of performance and special, and you weren't doing something meticulous in that regard. You were there to watch a show. Yeah, you got a pencil and a pad in your hand, but it doesn't stop you from like partying.
It would me, I'm afraid. I'd rather see that performance and then be able to kind of switch focus back onto what's going on the stage. It felt to me like, okay, I'll pay attention to Pete Hines, nod along, good stuff, excellent. Oh, I'll put the pad and pen down and
You've got nothing to write yet! Man plays great song, you can write that afterwards.
I'd already made about 100 words worth of notes on the Bethesda show by the time Andrew WK came out, and that's not even my job.
As a former musician myself, which is where I may sort of defend my corner, it is atrocious when you play a venue and you see that you actually do see the people that are really into it, and then you see people that are talking through it. They could just as well be sat in a shed. Seriously. Fuck off out of there. You're there for E3, you're there for spectacle, you're there for magnificence, you're there for games, you're there for the unexpected. If all you can do is glue your pad, which you've not even written on yet, for 5 minutes to your leg, seriously, fuck off out of the world.
Come on, journos, party till you puke.
Alternatively, don't put Andrew WK in front of an audience, half of whom aren't likely to respond to him.
It's Andrew WK.
I can blame Bethesda as much as the audience.
But did they find
the person I can't blame is Andrew WK and his band?
Yeah, have they found the, let's say, 300 most just boring humans in the planet? Because, like, if you put Andrew WK in any room, half the people should be into it because it's Andrew WK. Like, that ratio was fucked.
I don't think 3.5 billion people on this planet like Andrew WK.
I
think 3.5 billion people on this planet know who Andrew WK is.
It's closer to 5, isn't it?
I would have to say that I don't really know much about him other than the odd song and the podcast that he did where he talks about like depression and things like that and handling anxiety and stuff. But I would still, as a performer that has sat in an audience when other bands have been on, and basically berated my own band if they started going on their phones, if they started talking to one another. There's a degree of respect from somebody, especially if you're commenting on the world of art and another artist is performing, you give them your attention because he definitely put performance into there, but there's respect.
Sure, but if I'm walking through the middle of a town centre on my way to Tesco and there happens to be someone jumps out in front of me playing a guitar, That's not what I'm there for. And
but if you're going
argue...
into a venue in the middle of that town centre and you're sat down and you're expecting something to happen, just because there's a variable on there doesn't mean that you kind of fuck it over. You're there for a reason. You're there to expect art, the unusual, all of those things could happen once you're in that job and you're sat in that room. You volunteered to go into that position. Shit's going to happen. It's not like you're walking past Tesco and a man's jumping out with a guitar, because then you can just go, here's £1. I'm sorry, I've not got any money on me.
I love that this is the best argument we've had so far.
It's going to be the best one of this entire show. It's going to be the best one of this entire...
After all the Microsoft shit we had to argue about last time, we're more angry about this issue. I'm happy.
I agree. I'm taking a ridiculous comparison there, CJ. But I would also say I go to plenty of shows and focus on the music, but I don't necessarily run straight into the mosh pit and start punching people in the face. That's how some people enjoy themselves. I prefer to stand at the back, watch the performance, take it in, and not necessarily nod my head or jump around or scream. That's just not who I am. And I like to think that that's okay, as long as I'm not being disrespectful to the people on the stage. If I was sat in that audience and a game came up that I thought they presented really badly and didn't look like my thing, sure, I'd clap and I'd pay attention. I'd clap and I'd pay attention, but I wouldn't be standing up and screaming just because that's what might make the person on the stage feel good. And I think there's I thought the performance was fantastic. I thought where Bethesda put it did Andrew WK and the band a disservice. And I think the audience probably could have been more up for it, but I don't necessarily blame any individual for not for feeling blindsided by it and not sure what to make of it necessarily, because Bethesda did it no favours, kind of not putting it right at the front before anyone's on stage or right at the end as a kind of play you out, here's what you've seen. After Todd Howard, I thought that could have been a really cool performance to have, as a we've been Bethesda, thank you. Here's Andrew WK to
after
close us out. Well, I mean,
Skyrim's
not my cup of tea, but Todd Howard did pretty well, I thought.
just a version of all his hits with like games plugged in.
I don't know. I just think it's not all the audience's fault. Bethesda threw them under the bus a bit by doing this. I didn't think it just seemed odd to me, and I was kind of scratching my head as to why.
And in that really weird, sort of theatre of the round stage they did, where half the crowd were in front and half the crowd were behind as well. And
he was walking in between two giant frames that were kind of jammed together. And it was a very strange venue.
Yeah, there were presenters who clearly knew how to make the most of that and how to seem relaxed and address all of the audience, and there were others who clearly didn't, seem to know what to do for the best, I thought.
So, Rage 2 then, beyond Andrew WK. What? Well, first they got seemingly an absolute giant of a man standing next to sort of a man.
An average sized.
I thought it was a great promotion for the new Solo movie that's out.
I didn't think of that. I was thinking more Schwarzenegger and DeVito, but
the big lad was called Magnus as well. Fair enough. He's definitely a Magnus.
He was a little bit uncomfortable with the auto cue stuff on this one. It was a little bit. You see, this is more than the Andrew WK stuff. This is the bit that kind of made me go. Sitting there, at least let's have a look at the trailer, because this is dragging on a bit long and there's not really natural chemistry between the
pause for clap.
Yeah.
Oh my god, particularly this show as well. I mean, it started here but it continued. Oh my god, the pause for clap in Bethesda show was sickening.
Yeah.
And there was so much Yay! And we released Skyrim one time.
I get it's difficult when you're kind of mid-flow and an audience starts clapping and you have to pause and kind of reset yourself, but far better that than the alternative, which is 2 seconds of dead silence before you then kind of clearly see the person go, "Oh, I'll best start talking then."
We're losing them.
see-
We're losing them. Get Andrew WK back out. We're losing him.
You see Todd Howard's version where if there was like a silence, he'd just clap. He'd just do one clap just to set people off. Oh my God, Todd Howard says we should clap. We should clap.
Damn it, Todd, be brave.
What did you think
Except
of
Todd Coward.
the stuff that they showed?
Rage?
So we'd already seen Rage 2 trailer previously because, as Pete Hines alluded to, Walmart kind of stepped on their thunder for this.
It was a good joke that Pete Hines made on that regard. I thought it was very funny.
I thought this would have been a really cool reveal had it not been spoiled, because I don't think anyone expected a Rage sequel at all. I've not played Rage, but the reception to it was, I mean, you could call it divided, but lukewarm seems a far better kind of way to look at it. I wouldn't have expected a Rage 2 at all, aside from the leak. Have either of you guys played Rage?
No, I when it came to Xbox One backwards compatibility, I was kind of like, oh, okay. And I think there was Gary Butterfield and your Darren were basically saying like, oh, it's not the greatest thing in the world, but I think it might surprise you. It's all right. And I know it's knocking about for about £1.50, so I've always kind of fancied maybe having a pop at it, but I haven't.
But this looks like... I mean, I'd never watched it, and I actually didn't watch the video from the other week or whatever it was. I just... I saw pink, and I saw angry men, and I saw cars, and thought, oh, it's cool. It's fine.
That's your aesthetic.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Only way it'd be better if it was orange, but otherwise it's pretty close.
I guess the original Rage kind of had its lunch eaten by Borderlands a bit, in that people were expecting it to be much more vibrant, and it came out much more kind of brown and muted. And the original art for Borderlands was much more kind of grey and gritty and brown, and ended up coming out much more colourful with the change in art style. So I think Borderlands kind of stole its thunder, but that Borderlands has been quiet for a while now, and based on the way Gearbox have conducted themselves of recent years with one game or another, and certain amounts of, I wouldn't call them what they are, lies about their games.
I did think it was funny that Frisky Pitchfork was on stage with Penn and Teller, where doing like magic tricks. I was thinking like, where's the aliens' money?
It's in my yacht. Lol.
I do think it's quite funny that it seems now that Rage 2 is eating the lunch of Borderlands, which delights me. I really want. I like Borderlands 1, but kind of once it hit 2, it got a bit memey for me.
Oh, it was very, yes.
Yeah, it was
like
a product
the
of its time
went
at that
full
point, though.
on.
Yeah, like it was at the time. Yeah, it hit well. I mean, Borderlands 2 did fabulously for them, but it was fine. But like, it wasn't really my kind of thing. Like, I preferred the more solo-focused game that I played in Borderlands 1, because that's how I play these things. I don't really play online that much. I prefer to just take my time and snipe things from 87 miles away.
What? That's
in a shooter.
Then what do I do?
You would have the big weapon and stand in the middle going rah.
No, they'd be two snipers.
Yeah, I did find in Borderlands I settled into a more long range type. Because it just felt better. I guess I got the handle of the guns a bit better. But yeah, the recent ones they just look. Ugh.
Frisky Pitchfork is giving you that remaster of the first game that nobody asked for, which I presume is this year's version of the Aliens' Money.
I think the reason they're doing that is because obviously the Handsome Jack collection was 2 and pre-sequel packaged together for new consoles. So Borderlands is kind of the missing one that they haven't brought onto the current gen.
Thank you for thinking of us, Randy. Thank you again.
Which makes sense, but yeah, I played plenty of Borderlands, plenty of the DLC, enjoyed it. Played Borderlands 2, enjoyed that as well, but I haven't felt compelled to play pre-sequel or go back to re-releases or anything.
It's got more guns.
If Rage 2 can capture that, and dare I say a little Bulletstorm, which is another game it doesn't look like we're going to get any more of, that kind of combo score, skill-based shooter that's just madcap and fun. I don't remember hearing that there were like abilities, almost supernatural abilities in original Rage, but looks like there are here. It looks wacky. Humor obviously is going to be hit or miss, but it looks colourful in a way that previous game wasn't. I could go for this as a Borderlands spiritual successor, replacement, whatever we want to call it. And if it plays like a decent shooter, which there's no reason to believe it wouldn't, Avalanche on this.
The car combat looked really good, I thought.
Yeah, I thought it looked great.
Apparently, it plays like a sort of more wide open, spacey Doom, and everybody that seems to have played it on the show floor says that it's the greatest shotgun in video games ever. Like it's got a huge kickback on the controller, and people fly miles when you hit them with it. I know a few people have said that this is their favourite game of the show, that they've actually had hands on and playing it.
Sure.
So and I don't think that quite comes through on the trailers either. But I guess that it's one of those things you'd have to get your hands on, I guess. But.
Yeah, the trailer was quite sort of stylish, but I think they were going for style rather than digging into the meat of the game. We're not going to have to wait that long either. Spring 2019, so get your bets in for February the 22nd.
Yeah, what a day that will be.
What a day.
It just kills people in stores that are doing sort of midnight openings, I'd imagine.
Andrew Cavill UK jumps in like, yeah,
behind the till.
In terms of abilities, there was like a force push, it looked like, which knocking people about if you don't have shotgun shells.
Shatter.
Being able to use your hands.
Yeah,
would be
shatter,
good.
yeah, that he got from bringing a satellite thing back down to Earth.
Maybe alien goo in it, I don't know. Who knows?
And there was also some kind of like ground pound AoE type thing as well. So yeah, it could be really fun, especially if they do get that kind of fun, slick combat that something like a Bulletstorm had. In my opinion, some people weren't kind of fond of Bulletstorm, although I think the tone was more of a problem for a lot of people than the actual combat. So.
Oh no, for me, the issue for me with Bulletstorm was that I felt like I was constantly being graded on my inability to do the cool shot, and was just shooting guys with the guns because I couldn't work out how to fling him in the air, shoot him in the nuts in the air, and then blow him up. I wasn't that good at it. And I felt like it being scored constantly, and you're like, oh, I'm just not doing very points. Like, I just don't feel good. Whereas if they take away that shit and just let me kind of muck around as I want, I think I'd probably have more fun with it. Where it's like, oh, I have to tick off all the skill shots, and what's that? Shoot him where? With what? No. Like,
I think
give me Bulletstorm without the constant like teacher on your shoulder going, oh, 83 points.
I think Bulletstorm kind of screwed itself a little bit second time around by it built up more of a legend than it had when it came out, and then when the remaster kicked in, it'd be like, how much? No, mate, absolutely no.
Oh yeah, that was nuts. Yeah, that
Duke
was
Nukem's in it.
And if they'd have priced it reasonably, I think more people would have taken a pop at it. It was the same with things like Sleeping Dogs, where it was like, oh yeah, it's coming to the new how much? Nah,
yeah, you want to tempt in the people
months.
Who didn't play it first time around, and the way to do that is not charge them 40 quid for it again. And there was that weird thing with Bulletstorm where they announced Duke Nukem, but no one was really sure if that was just a remaster with him in it, or it was a new game with him in it, or when it was first announced, I remember thinking they haven't told us what this is, and then of course in press release immediately afterwards it became apparent what it was. But yeah,
was it a pre-order bonus?
It was something like that, but it was the remastered edition, which had some weird name, I think. But
I wonder who put that out. Thanks, Randy.
Yeah.
So then, Elder Scrolls Legends, a card game, coming to Switch, One, PS4, card games.
Apparently it's doing well. The guy on stage seemed cocky almost about how well it was doing, I thought.
Yeah, lots of pause to clap. Again, lots more. I keep writing it down, and there's so much pause to clap. Like, is this a big thing? Like, I know that Hearthstone exists, and I know Gwent's out there, but I mean, I know they probably bring this up at every show, and it just leaves my brain as soon as they've said it. Like, oh, look, a card game in the Elder Scrand, it's gone.
I want to say it was a couple of years ago. It might have just been last year they announced it, and I think it's one of those that if you're not someone who's into collectible card games and therefore looking out for these, or particularly into the game it's based on. I mean, I know Gwent was, I guess, quite popular and quite successful. Hearthstone obviously seems to be, but it does feel like if you've got an RPG fantasy world, get yourself a card game.
Thing is, James, I'm not one of these nerds that plays card games. Yeah, I've actually got a life.
I prefer Top Trumps.
Yeah, but you do play games on your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Although I saw someone was saying, basically say like it's a good job this is actually coming to consoles because it will absolutely melt your phone in your hand with the amount of like effects and how it.
Yeah, when we're saying I play games on my phone, we're talking 3s, Drop 7, and I have a couple of times dipped into Marvel Puzzle Quest. That's pretty much games on my phone.
Yeah,
and none of those melt my phone. They all melt my brain instead.
Desert Golf and my Griddler nonogram game. That's all I play. It's all I need.
The only game I've ever played on a telephone, ever, Game Dev Story, and then I realised that games on phones just don't get better than this. So
that's fair.
Because it was superb. Elder Scrolls.
Before you go, very bold claim that it was the #1 card game, downloadable digital card game, whatever.
I'd like to see the metrics.
I would like to see your metrics, sir.
There's some caveats there.
Show me your Don metrics.
There was some small print under that, wasn't there? On mobile phones released in 2017 or something. There's definitely some caveats there.
Do you think that's
I don't
Blink
know how
guy?
you'd even find that out.
Do you think Blink guy's like, we're actually third? It's changed to 1. No one's going to notice.
It just gets like a post-it note and just puts it over the top one. Why does it say number 2 next to us? I don't know. Who knows?
I'm sure they have the stats to back that up.
Snake.
I'm betting it's some kind of caveated up the wazoo statistic to get that. But yeah.
Only on BlackBerry Mobile.
Elder Scrolls Online. There's a new expansion coming.
Somerset, not that one.
I saw a thing on Twitter today where a few people were saying that they're quite enjoying this now. And I might have a dive in now. It's on Game Pass, but just to see what it's like more than anything. But don't know. It's passed me by a little bit beyond when it was just about to come out, and people were going like, no.
Yeah, yeah. I've heard some people suggest that the reason we've waited so long for a follow up to Skyrim is because this is doing so well. And obviously, if they bring out, like, some people aren't going to play an MMO. If there's they just aren't going to play an MMO. But some people will be playing the MMO as kind of, this is my Elder Scrolls at the moment, and as soon as Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, more on that later, they'll leave this and go to that, so they don't want to kind of cannibalise their audience. Which makes a certain amount of sense, I've got to say, and they keep on dropping expansions and going to different areas of the map. This one's in the Black Marsh, I think, which, if you look at the overall Tamriel map, obviously different games set in different areas, and this one's
where the lizard people
kind of
come
weaving
from.
everything together.
The Argonians.
And that released on the day of the conference, I think, didn't it? That was a same day.
I think so. Yeah, it was very, very close to it. At any rate.
Been heavily advertised anyway, hasn't it?
Very heavily.
Yeah.
The only note I made on this was there was a man riding a beetle that looked good.
That's all that needs to be said, really.
Yeah. I mean, like, for me, MMOs now, like, I just don't think I've got the patience for them anymore. Like this what is it? What's the other one? Final Fantasy 14. Like the other big ones on console, anyway. And I look at them, I think, do I really want to give this 800 hours?
Yeah, it's the time. I just don't have time.
And I'm looking, I've got to do another 8 runs of Dark Souls this week. So, like, I mean, who has time?
This it'd be great if the guy had actually come on stage, just go, bloke riding a beetle and that, and then just dropped his microphone. Andrew WK kicks in again. Everybody feels awkward.
You better get ready to ride. Get ready to ride.
They're trying to whisper to the mate, going like, it does look pretty much like a big beetle. It's a big beetle. Like them. So Doom Eternal, is it?
Yeah.
Who's next?
Yeah.
Can I read my note? Fuck yes! Very, very Doom. Fuck
my
yes!
Notes are not for me.
Ah. No, I'm into this. I know I didn't finish the first one, but that's not because I didn't like it. It's because it exhausts me. It's full on as shit. You've got to be in the mood for it. I just kind of drifted, but I will go back because I loved what I played, and for me to love a shooter like that takes a lot. I did not expect Very Doom, to like reinvent that kind of shooting game, but it did. Fucking up for this. I don't even care that it was a 10-second teaser with just like a classic oh, it's the guy's leg, and he's got a gun, and he's loaded it, and he's going to go shoot the... Oh, and it's cut. Like, fine. Just, that's perfect. Yeah. Twice as many monsters in it. Whee!
No date on this, which makes me kind of suspect we might be seeing this again this time next year at E3 for, like, a
October
holiday season. Like yeah, September, October release. Because Rage is kind of taking the Very Doom spot from 2016 that Prey was in last year.
No, mate, February 22nd, fuck it.
Get
on the pile!
It wouldn't surprise me if that was kind of May and then Doom later on in the year. I was a big fan of Very Doom. I found it slow to start, but once you got into it, once I got into it, yeah, it was just so fast and felt so just fluid and good. And as a shooter, you want something that feels great. And this seems to be like there's very strong indications this is going to be the equivalent of Doom 2 Hell on Earth, bringing hell back to Earth. We're going to see more in August at QuakeCon, I think they said. Marty and Hugo from id were introducing us, and they said they're going to debut, I guess that means gameplay at QuakeCon, and this was just a teaser. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what's happening with this. I think it just feels like they can freshen this up, and as long as they keep throwing more madness at it, they can just continue to surprise people and make us Doom fans very happy.
Get Nick Gordon back in. Oh yes,
I think that's a given. Isn't he doing Rage 2 as well?
Andrew WK is doing Rage 2.
No, I'm sure I saw something saying that
quite possibly, yeah.
Nick Gordon's doing it, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Just let him do all of
Avalanche
them.
are developing, but it's still an id game. Rage 2, really, isn't it? Rage was id, and id are going to be consulting on it. So, yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Quake Champions, anyone?
The guy who presented looked like a shoutcaster. He looked like he was one.
Instantly endearing him to you.
Oh, I got angry, and then it was esports shit, get good shit. But I mean, it looked fun for those kind of people that play that. Like, that's fine. It's not for me. But they did say something that I wrote down because it made my brain snap a little bit. So you can sign up to play the trial of the free-to-play version before launch. What the fuck does that mean? Yeah, just say it's early access and be done with it. Don't do a beta of a free version before launch. What does that even mean?
Yeah, this isn't even out yet. And
is it not? I hear about this all the time.
It must be out in an early access form or something, but I don't remember it ever being launched.
No, it was at last E3, wasn't it?
Well, it was, but I don't seem to recall it getting an announced release date then. They were just talking about how they got it, and it was essentially an Overwatch style kind of hero shooter. And they were talking about, I think they mentioned something esports related then, but I don't recall this ever actually being properly launched.
It has a 6 out of 10 on Steam.
It's one of those where it just feels like they made a big deal of it either last year, the year before, or both, and it just sailed over my head completely.
Yeah.
Beyond that, so I don't know.
I mean, the fact that we're having a debate about whether the game's out or not tells you everything about this.
Oh wait, no, it's early access.
Yeah. That's what I thought was early access, and they've decided to take it free to play, but obviously have a launch date somewhere later in the year. And you could play free this week, but yeah.
Apparently, no, it's free forever if you download it this week.
Right.
Which is weird.
It gets people to download it, and climbs it up Steam charts, and therefore gets more people interested in it. So that makes a lot of sense.
Bloody quack! Although it has got a lizard man in it, so I mean, it does get a couple of bonus points for having a lizard man character.
If he was riding on a giant beetle, though, game fucking on.
Oh, voiced by Andrew WK.
Yeah, there we go. So then, Prey, they told us about the Moon Crash update, which is immediate. DLC was detailed, and something that they didn't publicise here, but everybody was like, "Is this happening? It has. Has it happened on your console? It has. Oh, and is it? It actually got its Xbox One X patch. Stealth arrived in the background, which meant that I finally started it today, and it's got a very good opening. A very good opening. I quite enjoyed my time with it that I spent this afternoon.
I definitely don't want to raise your expectations too much, but I think it's a very good game that just missed a lot of people. I know immersive sims aren't for everyone, and it's certainly it does a weird thing with pacing where the weapons you get, abilities you get, and the rate you get them mean that I guess like any immersive sim, it's a bit more of a struggle at the beginning. You're struggling to kind of find your flow with combat and know where you are, because obviously you're exploring a whole space station in this case. But the pacing that on this game was something really I've not seen anything like it in a game, where it ramps up the pace as you go all the way through the game, and it gets quicker and quicker, and you get slicker and faster at doing what you're doing, and it just it did something really cool that I can't quite describe or put my finger on, but I think I played it on PS4 because the Xbox One X patch hadn't come out and the Pro patch had, and they'd kind of fixed some stuff on the PS4 version. The free update on the day of the conference was story mode, which I'm guessing is a slightly easier difficulty, NG Plus, and a survival mode, which a lot of immersive sims go for a kind of survival or extra difficulty mode. And Moon Crash, don't really know what that is. It's an infinitely replayable.
It's roguelike. It's a roguelike.
Roguelike, but maybe base buildy type thing. It looked like you were going to be doing some more stuff on the surface of the moon. I'm not sure.
I thought it looked more like the moon base itself was randomised, and you just explore the shit, survive as long as you can, and get out.
Like it was the testing facility, and you fucked up, straight back to the start.
Collect the thing, do it again.
Which makes sense with the opening of the main game.
And then they put Dead or Alive's "You Spin Me Right Round Like a Record Right Round" in the trailer, and I just didn't know what to make of that.
Well, I didn't know quite what to make of the game when it first came out anyway. I remember Tamor giving it 6 out of 10, some lad at IGN giving it 2 out of 10 because there was a bug in it, which apparently the developers were just like, you should have told us about it, we'll fix it straight away. Doesn't mean that give our game 2 out of 10 because you found something that nobody else had.
That's ridiculous. And
Mike Mahardy, actually it was the same lad at IGN who, I might have mentioned this in the preview show, but the same lad that complained about not knowing where to go in Bloodborne, and that there should be like markers leading you onwards in a map. But at GameSpot, Tamor gave it 6 out of 10, and Mike Mahardy said it was his favourite game of the year whilst drinking out of a Prey mug. I didn't quite know what it was, and I think that was part of the problem why it didn't catch fire with the public. But even playing it this afternoon, there was still this level of kind of, I was going in with no hype. I didn't really kind of have expectations of it, and the things that you were saying about pacing, a lot of the stuff early on was really, it wasn't like music was leading you on, or it wasn't particularly like giving you markers to go to certain places. It was just like, try some shit out.
Yeah,
figure it out, and then the revelations felt very natural from the things that you discover from moving around, rather than them being sort of, I don't know, preordained sort of points that you hit, and it's like, oh, this happens, or the camera swings round. It's like, oh, let's have a look down there. Oh, let's go in there. Oh, really? So
you're very much kind of piecing stuff together depending on where you go and what you find and in what order. I think it's quite a special game, but I'm not surprised that some people were really rubbed the wrong way by it. And I don't. It's not one of those where I think anyone who kind of bounced off it did so wrongly or incorrectly or just didn't play correctly. Or I'm not that sort of person. But to give a game 2 out of 10 for a bug you found, it's like, well, lots of games have bugs. That doesn't mean they get 2 out of 10. Even a Fallout 3, I didn't come across many bugs, but a lot of people did. Fallout New Vegas, same thing. I was spared quite significantly from a lot of the bugs that I read about. But you write that into your review, surely. And I mean, there's 101 ways to skin a cat, and there's a million and one ways to review a video game. And
Well, you'd actually contact the devs about it and just write up your preview.
There are
and
plenty
just say,
of
like,
people who do exactly that, and the devs will say, "Oh, thank you very much for letting us know. We'll get right on it," and maybe say to you, "This is the first time anyone has come across this."
Wasn't there a Jim Sterling thing with Hellblade where he found something that nobody else had, and the devs just corrected it instantly?
Yeah.
It was like a progression thing, and with it saving, and the devs had no idea. But yeah, I think it's one of those games that, with it being so stupidly cheap now, going for about like £5 or £6, that people may well end up trying it just because it's cheap, and I'll give that a go, and it may well blindside them into like, oh, this is a lot cooler and a lot more than I thought it would be.
I could see this in a year or so's time ending up on a PlayStation Plus or Games with Gold as well, or heading onto Game Pass or something. Maybe.
Super,
especially if I'm surprised, frankly, because towards the end of last year we heard that Dishonored 2 hadn't done as well as maybe Bethesda had hoped. Wolfenstein 2 apparently hadn't done as well, and
Evil Within 2, yeah.
Evil Within 2 and Prey and Dishonored Death of the Outsider, and there was this notion that a lot of their immersive sim games especially hadn't really met expectations, and where games like Wolfenstein 2 actually had picked up sales, it was because after about a month they dropped to like 2/3 or even close to half price.
Yeah, they hammer down in price, don't they? I think I picked up in January Evil Within 2 for £8.
Yeah. They seem to drop precipitously, which doesn't necessarily. I mean, that immediately makes you think, oh, because you think kind of bargain bucket type situation, don't you? But to see this level of support, I honestly feared it would be a case of, that's it, we're not doing anything more Prey, we're not doing anything more Dishonored. And I think I said in our previous show, I don't know where that leaves Arcane. I hadn't heard. I think some people had known that there were updates to come, and the Moon Crash was kind of rumoured, and I hadn't heard any of that, but I was so thrilled to see them put this level of support. I mean, extra modes, extra difficulties, an NG Plus mode, which I'm presuming either increases difficulty or changes the game in some way, which is really cool. I'm interested to find out. Moon Crash as an infinitely replayable, and Typhon Hunter, a 1 versus 5 human v Mimics game mode that's coming out in the summer.
Yeah,
I think
that looked neat.
into the game.
Yeah. I noted that down in the VR bit they did later on, but we might as well sort of cover it here. I think that sounds really, really fun. Because I think they said that it's scientists aboard the space station, like trying to figure out puzzles. And I was like, that worked really well in VR. That'd be super cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's deserving of a better audience. And one of the things that I really admired about the stuff that I played today was I'd forgotten how stylish Dishonored was. That look was really painterly and beautiful, but very not going for realism. It probably ties in from what we were saying the other day, that like 2 generations down the line, if they remastered it, probably still look really good because it's got that certain character to it.
Would it be fair to say brutalism is a touchstone that for some reason that feels like the right word to use, although I'm probably using it incorrectly, in terms of architecture, and also the character design's kind of, it's slightly off kilter and doesn't look quite right, but it's a style that clearly works.
It's a little bit
in the
like
game.
it's a little bit sort of 2000 AD-ish, I think, like with the painted work that you see people doing there. That's what it put me in mind of. So
yes.
We then moved on to Wolfenstein Youngblood. So BJ's twin daughters set in 80s Paris. Well played, absolutely well played.
Yep. Very incredibly into this. I love the idea of you can co-op, so you can play on your own, but because you're twins, you can both play together. Like that's really cool and clever, and they look like they might play a bit differently as well. Like one seems to punch a lot, and one likes to shoot a lot. Like, I'm into that. Give me that punch girl, please.
Also lots of pink neon, and I presume like swathes of synths.
Yeah,
please.
Hopefully, yeah. And I don't know whether this will be like canonical future, because I'm not entirely sure. Obviously, BJ and I'm forgetting the name of his partner in
Anya,
yes,
Anya?
Thank you.
Yeah.
She's pregnant in the second game, and so I'm not sure how the timeline quite fits with that because it was 60s, but was it? I can't remember exactly when in the 60s it was. So they might be just reaching 20 years old or so, depending upon when in the 80s it's set. But I wonder if it might be kind of an alternate timeline because that's certainly something that's possible based on what we've seen in Wolfenstein 2. I also like this just weird thing that it was the Old Blood was the standalone expansion last time around, and now it's Young Blood. That makes a heck of a lot of sense.
Oh my god!
I hadn't thought of that at all. Well played, sir.
New Order, Old Blood, New Colossus, Young Blood. A nice thing to do, and obviously the title makes sense, you know.
I rescind any argument we had earlier on because you've now won E3.
Shit.
No, I just think it's really cool. Coming not till 2019, I think that's fine. Bit of breathing space, and also can kind of split the difference on Wolfenstein 3 is in development. I don't think Bethesda need to announce that. It is. It's happening. There's no way.
Well, they did say as well that their Wolfenstein VR game, which also sounds really good, is sort of secret agents like hacking the Nazis.
Yep. Hack Nazi robots.
Cyberpilot. I think
Well
Cyberpilot for a game set potentially in the same time as this one, like Cyberpilot, that's 80s as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You must be good. I mean, as somebody that's got VR sitting in the next room waiting for you, Pad, this must be quite exciting to have this stuff like still popping up. Maybe not from Sony,
well,
but other people.
No, this looks great. I mean, you say
it.
in the next room, it is in the next room, which is in a van on its way to game still, because I ordered it at like midnight on a Friday.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so it's not here yet. I should have it by tomorrow. But no, like, seeing all the stuff like this come out, like suddenly I'm like, ooh. Okay, I'll do some VR
that's really neat.
Nazi killing in a robot machine, please.
If you're forcing me to.
I mean, I like, you know, like don't put yourself out or anything, but I mean, sure. Because
So,
did Pete come back out and was like, yeah, we're bringing our platform of fuck Nazis to as many games as possible.
Yeah, well played.
Yeah,
well done, Pete.
Yeah.
I echo that. So then Todd Howard comes on stage looking like Michael Jackson cosplaying a Cadbury's chocolate finger.
I think Todd Howard is Keanu Reevesing a bit. I don't think he's aging. He doesn't look.
He's taken some of the blood from that lad who does Smash Brothers, who seems to be going backwards, like reverting towards like being a child.
Just child age, yeah. He's one of those terrifying, like homunculus men. Like Hirohiko Araki that does JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Also, does not age. Looks younger the older he gets. I don't get it. Todd Howard. What are you doing, you liar? Tell us!
Well, he's using that Amazon money that he gets from the very special edition of Skyrim.
Oh, fuck yeah.
On
Alexa.
That was absolutely brilliant. Well played, sir. And also, the thing is, when he's on stage, he's got the timing of a comedian, which is really, really good. And whilst you might have lured people into like with this one clap to make everybody do lots of stuff, but he's got timing, and he knows how to sort of throw a punchline in for one, but also he looks really super at home on stage, possibly more than anybody I've seen at E3.
He is one of the biggest, like probably the most prominent, like big names that comes out, and he could talk for an hour or two on that stage, and it would probably be fine. Like he's got a really fluid presenting style. He's confident. He's, like you say, funny. Like I like that he was being cute about E3. Like, you know, when we started and it was baby times, and we had that weird teenage phase where we shut ourselves in our room and no one could look. Like I thought that was really funny. I was really enjoying all that stuff. Yeah, Todd, you're for all his lies about Fallout, Todd Howard, he can present a show.
I think my favourite moment, and it is jumping ahead a little bit, was where he showed the poster from the special edition. He goes, "Fucking glows in the dark," and then just stood there staring at it for about 2 minutes.
Glows in the fucking dark,
as everybody in the room did.
It's the way he said "fucking." It was that little short of "fucking."
I know. Exactly. It's the timing of a comedian. So Did you enjoy the Alexa joke?
I thought it was
great.
Fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
I like him anyway. Keegan Michael Key. I think he's pretty funny anyway. And apparently this actually works.
It actually
This isn't bullshit.
It? Yeah.
It's a thing you can do.
What it makes sense. There are a few kind of jokey things you can ask Alexa and get like funny responses for. So this just takes that to a logical extension. And yeah, the cynic in me says they're only willing to make a joke of it after they've actually released it on all possible platforms, so as not to make a joke of the platform they're actually going to be releasing it on. Because people were joking, what's left? The answer is nothing. It's on everything now. So now we can make the jokes without undercutting our own legitimacy. You see what I mean? But fair play. Make the joke. Show that you're willing to laugh along with people who are kind of laughing about it. Yeah, it was just really nicely done. And
I really like the cheese bit as well. I really like the cheese bit. You're lactose. I know, honey. Eat all the cheese. All the cheese. Cram it in my face.
So we then moved on to Fallout 76, and as we've spoken before, the open world 4 times the size of Fallout 4.
Bigger, not better.
Then they replayed the same trailer that we'd seen hours before.
Yeah.
The same one.
That was bizarre.
Maybe because people have forgotten.
Maybe they're thinking that Bethesda fans will come to the Bethesda show and not necessarily have got the Microsoft show.
Bastards.
But you don't...
True.
Enough of the people in that room and watching that stream are going to have seen the Microsoft show. That doesn't give them any extra information, which is what they came to you, Todd Howard, for. It's just, it wasn't great.
Thankfully, with his glistening chocolate jacket, he told us a little bit more about it afterwards. So everyone in it is a real person. There's the ability to build bases and take them with you. Single player or team up with others. All your progression in your friends' worlds is kept. Take on monsters. Be wary of the motives of other humans. And you can also get codes for nuclear bases and alter the shape of the wasteland and the baddies that are in it. I like the photo mode. I thought the photo thing was really funny, where they got that burnt out giant bat, and then it looked like the photo was funny anyway. But then they went into like Charlie's Angels pose, and I nearly pissed myself.
Yeah, that was very, very good. I like that the enemies are getting a bit more diverse as well. Apparently, they're reaching into folklore of like West Virginia to find monsters that might or have been mentioned about not your chupacabras because that's Mexico, but that sort of thing. Like frog monsters and like ones based on the actual flora and fauna of the place, which is kind of neat. I really dig that. Just shitload of gross bugs.
Suggesting those folklores, those kind of myths, came from nuclearly mutated due to a nuclear blast. That doesn't. How did they then become myth now when that's an alternate timeline?
Maybe we'll find out in the end of the storyline of Fallout 76, the new game from Todd Howard.
Todd
did all mythological creatures. There we go.
They kind of offhandedly mentioned that there's 16 times the detail. I'm not sure if that's just in terms of they're pushing higher resolution.
Do you think it's the team that's developed it? Because isn't it the people that did Battle Cry? So I presume they're bringing sort of a certain technical nuance to it.
Battle Cry?
I remember it being quite well received, but didn't go down. Wasn't massively popular.
It was around. So it was Battle Cry and Battleborn and Bloodborne were all announced in the same E3 like 3 years ago or whatever.
Another Overwatch type thing.
I can't. Was this the one that was melee based, or was that Battleborn? Because was Battleborn Gearbox? Gearbox had one, I'm sure. And yeah, they were kind of in that vein of
hero shooter team,
hero shooter or
objective MOBA,
that sort of things. Somewhere between a Team Fortress and an Overwatch. Yeah.
But the characters didn't look like they wanted to fuck as much, so that's probably why it didn't get as popular as Overwatch.
I did laugh at Todd Howard's Break It Early test application.
That was funny.
That was great. Honestly, I was surprisingly taken with the stuff that I saw on this. I thought it looked pretty. I really liked the monsters. it just looks interesting. It's got a little bit of character and a little bit of quirk to it.
Yeah.
I like it.
I do too. I'm concerned because when I play, what I liked about Fallout 3 in New Vegas was that feeling of solitude in the wasteland, but always knowing I was on my way to somewhere, whether I was exploring or heading back to somewhere I'd been to talk to someone. If all of the human characters are real people and there's no NPCs to interact with, that seems weird.
Yeah, the question
where am I going and why am I doing it? If it's
sound...
just base building and exploring, but without getting missions or being able to interact with people. I mean, you did say there's dozens of players in each instance, so there's going to be plenty of people around, but can I speak to other human beings, or can I just point a gun at them, shoot them, and then shoot them in the head when they're crippled on the ground? You know,
I think I've worked it out. Every human you meet is a person, but what about all the robots? We'll have a city of Codsworths.
Could be robots, could be mutants that you can interact with. There's been plenty of other beings that can give you quests. Exactly, yeah.
Ghouls.
But equally well, this is much closer to, it's much earlier, so have ghouls developed yet? Or did that happen when people came out of
Or does that happen the more
shelters?
that you nuke the world?
Exactly, yeah.
The more that things sort of infinitely mutate, and maybe they can give updates to the game with the stuff that's
I'm
that's
sure.
kicking in.
They've said it's dedicated servers and they're running this as a long-term service, so I am sure if what comes out doesn't necessarily hit the mark with everyone, they'll be adding and tweaking and making sure that they keep this game going and support it, hopefully. I was more intrigued by it than I thought I would be, given how kind of quickly I bounced off Fallout 4, which I'm still not 100% sure why I did, but I did.
Likewise. I went through. I played Fallout 3 initially and bounced off that. Then came back to it when I was out of work and I couldn't afford Skyrim. So I stuck it back in and super loved it. Absolutely adored it at that point. And then thought Fallout 4 would be my sort of thing, but just. I don't know if I change. I don't know if it's you, if it's me. If we've just changed as a couple.
Yeah.
It just wasn't quite there for me. And
I couldn't quite
I even tried it again when the X patch hit and was like, the bizarre thing was it was actually trundling along quite wonderfully until they hit the X patch, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh yeah, this looks super pretty now, but it is stuttering a touch.
Yeah. I mean, that's always been an issue.
Yeah.
And until they get a new engine there. I don't think that's necessarily going to change much. But,
this one didn't do much for me. Fallout 76. I think like you guys, I've kind of cooled on Fallout. I mean, I loved 3. Like that was the one that I liked.
You fell out with it.
Hey.
You've thrown me.
Very good.
New Vegas, I kind of bounced off because I played it on the PC, and on my PC it looked like scratchy yellow shit. And I just didn't have any desire to play it on the PC. Like, this is bad. I'm not going to upgrade my PC to play this. And I've heard it was notorious glitchy on the console. I was like, well, sod this, then ain't worth it. And then Fallout 4, I've not touched. I just can't be asked. Like, I look at it, it's like, oh, it looks like another Fallout, but a little bit slightly colourfuler, maybe, and a little bit sharper. This looks fine. Like, I'm not upset about it existing. I think it's going to be quite cool. I think it's going to be something different, which I think the series does need at this point. I like the special level up table that you seem to be able to pack your entire life into and take with you. The camp, I think they call it.
Looked a little bit like a barbecue.
Yeah, like, no, let me just unfold my special table and let's drill ourselves up a hospital. I like the big sloth monster. That was fun. But yeah, I don't know. I want to see what it actually is. Like, I still don't get quite a feel for what it even is. Like, what do you do in an hour of the game? Do you talk to a person? Do you run around on your own? Do you squad up at the local squad base? Like, how?
It's like what we were saying though about Prey and about Dishonored and stuff. That maybe this is Bethesda's problem, that they've got a lot of games that people don't quite know what they are.
Yeah, possibly.
I mean, I'm wondering sort of how frustrating it's perhaps going to be. You've got all the fun stuff where you can go out with your mates and stuff, but if you get your town destroyed, Is it then fun to start rebuilding it again? Or
well,
especially if you're a solo player.
Especially if that's what you're spending the majority of your time doing. Like, it's not like you come back to your base and it's been partly destroyed, but you were out doing 4 or 5 really interesting missions and have loads of resources just to quickly fix everything up. If what you're spending the majority of your time doing is going out and scavenging to build a base for once every 4 or 5 hours of play, it just to get wiped off the map,
Nuked.
That sounds utterly pointless. To me, that's just churning for the sake of churning. I have faith that's not going to be the case, but yeah, like you, Paddy, I expected not to care one iota about this game, and enough of what was shown, or at least the way Todd Howard presented it, got me more interested than I would have been, but only on the basis that there's stuff here I don't know how it's going to work, and I'd need to know that before I actually thought maybe I could get involved. And then they told me it was 14th of November, which is one day after Hitman 2 comes out, so I'm not playing this game. It's not happening. It's not happening.
Also, now I want to bring this in as well, because obviously it's going to be multiplayer now. I guess that means you can't use VATS anymore, because that's like pause the game.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. There's a version of VATS that you can use in there. Yeah.
What happens to everyone else? Do they stop moving?
It's not going to pause the game or anything, but there is a way for people to target specific body parts on the fly,
so kind of half VATS, where maybe they could slow it down as long as it slowed it down for everyone, and they were able to do that as well. But
it just means that you can pick off sort of certain body parts, or but as I understand it, you can't really have it slowing down for certain people and other people cannoning through the world. So, but yeah, there is a version of VATS in it.
Okay, interesting. I want to see it, because again, VATS is how I play that game. I don't shoot manually because the shooting mechanics are fucking awful. I'm going to stop and I'm going to roll the dice and I want a 90%, and then I'm going to shoot the thing in the gob with my sniper rifle from over there.
You're going to be able to roll the dice, but you're going to have to move like buggery while you do it.
Nah, not into it. Not into it.
Get good scrub.
No, not into it. Not into it. Don't like it. Not into it.
No, I've got to say that was part of why I fell off Skyrim quite as hard as I did once I'd beaten the main campaign, because without that, I found interacting with stuff in that game in any of the combat with any of the combat mechanics just to feel not enjoyable at all. Like, I get it's not guns in Skyrim, so it's not supposed to feel, you're not supposed to get that kind of punch to it, but melee should still feel heavy, and you shouldn't feel like you're just kind of swatting a fly in midair and missing it 7 times in order to without VATS, that engine's combat doesn't quite hold up. So yeah, that certainly has me nervous as well, if the shooting isn't significantly better.
And how do these games get this like popular and this much market share with combat systems that fucking bad? Like, because the Skyrim one is pants. I don't like Skyrim's combat. It's just hit the button or click the thing, swing the sword. It's like an MMO. Like, nothing seems to be working. Like, swing, 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 swing. My health bar's bigger than his. I win. Like, maybe I just don't play the nuances more, but it just feels butt.
Hold that thought for a moment.
But
whilst we hop over the stone that is Fallout Shelter, that's coming to PS4 and Switch.
Oh, we also missed the stone. You missed a different stone. They're putting a fucking helmet in the special edition of 76, aren't they? A proper sodding great helmet. And minis. Minis! I like minis. Little minifigures to paint and stand up and do nothing with. But look at them. They were beautiful. And I think the Power Armor helmet is completely ostentatious, ridiculously gaudy, but perfect.
Are they, given they've sort of put the Pip-Boy in the previous one, are they just going to give people like bits of armour for every edition that they're doing?
This is the new meta game. You build up a set of power over the next 20 years.
Alternatively, I kind of hope all the Power Armor helmets, when people put them on and fire up the game, a bit like Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, a signal's sent out from their TV and it just melts their head.
I hope it's a little bit like the statues that were in the Doom Special Edition, where they don't actually work when you press the button, and there's no living way for a human being to get the screw out to try and put a new battery in.
Okay, let's take that and run with it. Once you put the power armor helmet on, it snaps on and never comes off.
That would be great.
That would be brilliant.
That's your life now.
Yeah. You did this to yourself. Sorry.
And it's sealed off from
Barry,
the air.
Do you, Barry, take Jenny to be your lawful wedding wife? I do.
And sadly, if that was the case, there would still be some people who would put that helmet on even knowing that was the case.
Yeah, they glue their own head into it. So the stepping stone of Fallout Shelter, PS4 and Switch.
Yep, 3-year anniversary. It was already out on Xbox One because I thought, hang on, they didn't mention Xbox One, but it came out a year or so back.
Special relationship.
Special relationship, very special. Feels very special as you are killing people in your shelter. 3rd-year anniversary, which is surprising. I didn't think it was that long ago, but it was right before Fallout 4, so I guess that makes sense. Fine.
So then,
speaking of swiping at things,
I know Elder Scrolls. I can't even say it. Elder Scrolls Blades, a telephone game, also a console game, also a PC game, and a VR game. You can all play together. It will do landscape or portrait modes, and I did like the jokes with like nobody suspecting you're playing a game when you're in a meeting and you're looking at your phone. It's very pretty. Apparently the combat isn't sort of particularly technical, but it probably doesn't need to be on a phone. I'm wondering what the variation of that is going to be on consoles and stuff, but left to centre a little bit.
This is weird. And again, the combat didn't look all that, and it seems to be entirely about being a one-on-one combat game, but the combat just looked like block and then attack. I
played Infinity Blade like 8 years ago.
And that game's mad. I like that.
And that was good fun, but because of the world, I mean, the combat was very, very much still swipe to dodge, swipe to attack, swipe to block, or hold to block or whatever.
But it had some style about it, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. And fair enough if they want to take what looks like that kind of mechanic. The Injustice mobile games kind of do something like that, where you're kind of swiping and tapping on the screen to attack and dodge and dash and stuff. And they're fine, but for like 15 minutes, and then you're like, nah, this is all I'm doing, isn't it? And then it's just about upgrading your character in between, and upgrading your character doesn't ever give you new moves. Certainly in previous experience of those games, it literally just adds numbers, and of course your numbers go up at the same rate as your enemies do, unless they want to get you to buy something, in which case your numbers go up slightly lower rate than your enemies' numbers do. And it's just all a bit, this is my life now, sitting on the toilet swiping.
Well, this is like wow.
Sorry. My psychiatrist told me not to mention that.
Bath. And that leads nicely.
Works on many levels, that one, James.
Unfortunately, that leads on to my Laura comment for this show about Elder Scrolls Blades. Laura says, "Where's the money? Where's the money? Free to play. Where's the money going to be? Where do you give them money to play the game more? Is it going to be play it a couple of times and stop? Is it going to be pay for Elder coins or septims,
skins on your sword,
bottle caps?
So they said you're leveling up your town, because there's Abyss, Arena, and Town modes, and you're leveling up your town. Almost certainly you'll be buying stuff to level up your town, whether it's cosmetic or whether it's
a cleaner. I'm going to buy a lighthouse. I'm going to buy a comic shop, and I'm going to buy a couple of hobos for the town.
And they mentioned you could visit friends' towns, which again, in that kind of Animal Crossing way, if you go to a friend's town and see some fancy stuff or a nicely painted polka dot chapel, then you can come back to your town and get the same skin, and probably there's in-game money. But maybe. Yeah. How's Fallout Shelter monetized?
You buy...
No idea.
I think you can buy stuff, because when I downloaded Shelter, because I went through and sort of downloaded some of the free stuff from E3, I did that. There was a PlayStation Plus pack that had a few things in it, and then there were separate packs of you can get a Mr. Handy, or you can get a Nuka Caps, or something like that. I don't know. It sounds like it'll be the same thing, because these games always have some sort of horrible, like, buy some currency or buy a thing mode, and they make stupid money. I mean, they said Fallout Shelter has 100 million players, which is more than all their other games combined.
Yeah.
The fuck? So make mobile games, turns out it's really profitable.
I mean, they're all cross-play as well, so I want to see the person swiping on their phone stood next to someone playing on VR who's flailing about in midair, and the person on their phone's getting beat because they're playing on the phone. Of course you're going to get beat. And then just start kicking the other person in the shins to put them off.
No!
It's just like,
There's
you
a vision
should,
of the
you
person.
should always respect the VR zone rules. You're in the VR zone, you're not allowed to get touched.
There's a version of that where there's the guy on the super expensive sort of VR unit, and he's going like, how is this other person so accurate with their hits? And then it just cuts to them on the toilet, and they're like,
yeah, absolutely. Just casually swiping once every couple of seconds. Yeah. Maybe it'll be a simple enough game that'll all work fine, but I suspect that could feel very poor if you're playing on a PC or whatever versus someone on mobile.
But yeah, what psychopath plays a game like this in fucking portrait mode? Who's that for?
it looks alright.
No, it looks like
He
a
was
wank.
saying like, if you're holding a coffee, and I was like, Todd, mate, I'm sorry about everything I said about your glistening chocolate jacket. Maybe.
So what I will say is, if there are people for whom they only can use one hand, accessibility-wise, holding your phone landscape and try to swipe with your thumb across the whole screen could be an absolute nightmare, whereas if it's portrait and allows you to legitimately play one-handed as an accessibility option, it's always one of those things where, you know, lots of stuff you scratch your head and say, why is that important? And it may not be the design intent, but if it does mean that people who can't play console games because without you know, an adaptive controller or whatever can do that, then great. If
I'll
it's just an accessibility thing,
I will
that's
give
fine.
you that. But they didn't market it like that. They said you could hide from meetings with it. And who plays a game in a meet? Come on, that's not even a funny joke.
Yeah,
that missed the mark completely for me. I'm like, come on.
it did for me. Yeah.
Like, you could do it in a meeting because no one's going to suspect you. Ka-ching! I'm looking at an email.
A wee bit of a glimpse of Starfield, which we mentioned in the preview, which is mentioned as being next gen.
New
so
next
they're giving
gen single
themselves
player game.
a good run up to that. But I suppose if it launches, you know, at the start of the PS5 and the Xbox, whatever's next, like if it's there as a launch title, of course people are not only going to buy the consoles, but they're going to buy the game as well. So it makes sense. But I did like the sort of frontier discovery tone of the trailer, even though it was quite short. It stirred up sort of a lot of sci-fi feels.
I mean, you say quite short. It was blink and you'll miss it short, because I blinked and missed it. I literally was like,
I had a number of blinks throughout that, and my eyes are nice and moist.
Is that what Blink Guy was doing when he should have been doing Andrew Wilson? Was making sure CJ's eyes were blinking.
Yeah.
I literally typed Starfield date new next gen single player game, having seen the kind of like sun crescenting around the planet type thing, and then looked back up at the screen and they'd finished, and I was like, oh, that was short.
Unfortunately for this kind of reveal does nothing for me. Absolutely nothing. Like, we're doing something cool. What's it about? Now, next up, like, no, tell us about the thing. Don't just cock tease like that.
Yeah.
But in a surprisingly wonderful bookend to our discussion on Andrew WK, what got the nerds out of their seat, punching the very rafters of the room, was a slight bit of scrolling across a green landscape and then a logo.
They were ready to die at that point.
Yeah. And that's a game that's coming. And by the way, not the final title of the game, because no Elder Scrolls game has been called Elder Scrolls number. So not the title of the game, not the logo for the game. But saying that, I saw several people go onto Twitter and say, "Oh, by the look of that landscape, maybe it's this area of Tamriel that we haven't been to before." But no,
10 things you didn't know about Elder Scrolls 6.
But there are people who are legitimately
things you missed.
Hungry for news on this game, so speculation immediately starts like that. That's not me, but fair play to them. This was mentioned as coming after Starfield, so even if Starfield's a kind of split gen thing where it is targeting next gen, but also there'll be this gen versions of, which I think seems fair. I don't think you necessarily put all your eggs in that basket if you're at the divide between generations. we've seen it almost more so than any previous generation between 360 PS3 and one PS4, and I think the same could happen next time around. But yeah, that Elder Scrolls is coming after that, so presumably at least a year after that, because and possibly two.
But they've made that mountain.
And
that's more than they've got for Starfield so far. They've got a mountain.
Yeah, have they? I mean, they could have put that together in a SimCity map designer and just panned the camera across it.
But they've also got in Starfield, they've got that space station that looks like the head of the Demogorgon from Stranger Things.
I haven't watched it.
That one landed badly.
I haven't watched it, sorry.
Oh well.
Yeah, I think it's probably smart, like we were saying for Microsoft, if you don't feel like you've got masses right now that are going to get people excited, do tease what you've got coming up. But I don't know a damn thing about either of these games, really. Like, I know what to expect from an Elder Scrolls, and I know that Starfield is mooted as a Elder Scrolls in space situation, which does open up loads of possibilities, and absolutely imaginations can run wild with that sort of stuff. But
the Eldar Scrolls.
These could both be 2 and 4 years out, for all I know. That's a long time to just speculate over not a lot of information, to me.
But, based on last year's show, which they showed at the beginning, every game they showed came out in that year. So we should see it February 22nd. New Elder Scrolls. Yay! I hope they fix the combat now. I hope they actually put in a combat system that isn't utter wank.
I think their big game for this year's Fallout 76, their big game for next year is going to be Doom Eternal, with Rage as kind of the here's something we're trying game in between. And yeah, so then Starfield's going to be, in my opinion, from what I imagine is going to happen and how little we saw of it today, 2020 at the absolute earliest.
Oof. Everyone aboard the very slow hype train.
And on to the next episode we go.
Jumping down Skyrim, mother flipping Skyrim, mama talking Morrowind, down the Scroll 6. That's a scrolling bed of grass, building there you bet your eyes on your slave oblivion, down the Scroll 6.